Welcome to my tutorial for Power Blade 2 for the NES. Great game. These games aren't really too well known, but I think they're some of the best games on the system, especially after playing this one. Again, I never really worked on this game, but I played it a little bit before in the past, but I never really committed to working on it. But yeah, great game. A lot of people were saying the first one is better, but I can't remember. I beat the first one a long time ago, so I can't remember if it was better. I don't really remember the details of it, just that I beat it. But yeah, this game is great. You pretty much, initially I was using rapid fire, so I wasn't able to throw my boomerangs the full distance. So basically if you wait and let your power meter charge up, you'll be able to throw your boomerang farther. But if you have rapid fire on, there's no delay, so you don't get that distance out of it. So it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, you can use it. It can be useful for certain parts of the rapid fire, but it can also hinder you when you want to hit things from far away. Some power-ups will allow you to, like the double boomerang power-up allows you to throw multiple boomerangs out at once, I believe. And then there's a red boomerang power-up. I believe that just makes the boomerang more powerful. You can get that energy tank to the upper left corner if you want, but I always got killed trying to get it, and you really don't need it just to beat this level. This level's not that hard. There's not really a lot of checkpoints in this game, but, the levels are not that hard to learn. I mean, the game is a lot easier than, like, a Mega Man game or something like that. The Mega Man games are all much harder than this on NES. So, even though there's not a lot of checkpoints, it's not too hard to learn the levels with some practice. And there's a lot of easy methods for all the bosses in the game. There's ways to position yourself and ways to beat them very easily. So that makes the game a lot easier. You also have unlimited continues and passwords. So even if you defeat a mid boss, see the first 4 levels you can pick them in any order you want. There's only 6 levels, but the first 4 you can pick in any order you want. And the reason for that is because you can get a different suit in each level by defeating the mini boss of each level. It's like a mid boss. It's like midway through each level. If you defeat that and you die, you still get to keep the suit when you continue. So you can still go to another level and bring the suits to a different level, I believe, even if you don't complete the level that the suit was in. So you can always go back later and just grab the suit from a level and bring it somewhere else if you want. The order that I like to do it in was the first level, then the third, then the second level, and then the 4th level. I believe that was the order I did them in. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it ended up working out well. I just kind of randomly picked an order. But yeah, here I go back, and I go in this door. And this is where the mini-boss is. You always want to go in these doors to fight these mid-bosses. I don't know if you have to defeat them to beat the level, but you want to kill them because you want to get all the suits. All the suits are useful for different situations. So yeah, this guy is really easy. Just jump over him when he rolls, throw some boomerangs at him when he's standing up, and that's it. Just keep repeating that pattern. It's very simple. And you'll get the Newt suit from that boss. And that suit is very good. It lets you climb on walls and ceilings. You can pull a lot of bullshit with that suit and skip a lot of platforming parts. Not as much as you can with the rocket suit, which you'll get soon, but you can pull a lot of bullshit with that suit. It's useful. It also has, as you can see, that fireball that it shoots out, that wave is much wider than the boomerang projectile, so it's good to hit enemies that you can't hit with the narrow boomerangs as easily. So here you're just going to ride this part up, and it's pretty easy. Avoid the sparks and just destroy the bubbles. You can climb up this area faster if you want to use your Newt suit. You can climb up the walls and ceilings and get up faster, but there's really not much point of using it because whenever you use a suit, you waste energy. It's in your energy meter. That's right below where it says player. And it takes long for that energy to drain. It gives you a long time to use the suits. And that meter is for all the suits, so there's not a different meter for each suit. And to select your suit, you pause the game by pressing start and then just press on the directional pad to switch to the next suit. But when you use a suit, your energy meter does drain. If it goes all the way drain, then you can't use your suit anymore. So until you get more energy, you have to pick it up from killing enemies. Or you can get an energy tank, which will refill your suit energy automatically when it runs out. You can collect those in levels. They're usually on a ledge or something like that, and you can get those that way. And you can carry quite a bit of them if you can find that many of them. But of course, if you die, they don't stay in your inventory, so they're only for your initial set of lives that you have before you get to the continue screen. You can also get life tanks, which for the life tanks, they don't kick in automatically when your life gets low, as far as I can tell. You have to press select to use them, so keep an eye on your life. If your life is getting low, hit select if you have a life tank, and that'll refill your life meter. But yeah, see here, we can skip a lot of this whole section here by just climbing on the roof, pretty much. And, firing every once in a while. So you can see the suit. That's why I saved the suit for this part. I probably didn't have to save it because you do get a nice amount of energy in your meter, but I really didn't need to use it in that previous, sequence. But here it's very useful. Not that this part would be hard anyway, but you could easily risk getting knocked into the spikes if you were jumping around trying to kill all this shit. This way you can just climb on the ceiling and pretty much bypass the entire section. This first boss is also very easy, but it's very tedious with the way that I show here. But this is a method that anyone could easily do. So, you don't have to play it this way. If you want, you can beat him faster. But I didn't really try fighting him normally until the end of the game. And you'll see why later. But I just used this technique that I saw in a video because I had watched a playthrough of the game and I remembered this. But basically I had to take rapid fire off so I could at this point so that I could get the full distance on the boomerang. So that's why I was messing around. I didn't realize that the rapid fire was cutting my length short on the throws. But yeah, so you want your length of your boomerang to be pretty far for this. I mean, you want to wait till the meter's at least full or nearly full so you can get the full distance. And every time he fires his gun is basically when you're going to throw out your boomerang, and then he'll jump down into it or he'll jump up into the boomerang. And once you get the timing down, you just keep doing it. You're only going to get him like one hit at a time. So it can take a while. If your timing is really sloppy, you can run out of time. But, you get quite a bit of time, but you want to get the timing down decently so that you don't run out of time. And I think this guy is really easy to fight normally as well. So, I mean, I could have just fought him instead of doing this for 5 minutes. But if you want an easy method, then this is probably the easiest method for this enemy. These bosses all have, like, pretty cheap methods you can use to beat them without really dodging. So I'll show all that. There's a boss gauntlet at the end where you have to fight all the bosses again, but it's easy if you've already beaten all the bosses because you'll know where to position yourself. And you get your life refilled after each one of the bosses in the gauntlet that you beat, and you get some energy back too for your suits. So it's very forgiving. And yeah, that's all you got to do for the first boss. So you beat the first level, and now you have the newt suit, which you'll be able to use in other levels, which is very useful. And I believe the next level I go to now is the third stage. I did try the second stage, but I was kind of fucking up, so I decided to take a little break and try the third level, and then I ended up beating that. You can use the newt suit here to climb up the wall and bypass all this if you want, but I didn't have any energy, so I couldn't do that. But you get some energy from that enemy, a little bit, but it'll help. And then you get an energy tank, which, that really helps because when your energy runs out, it'll refill all your energy automatically. So, very useful. Now here you have to use the newt suit, I believe, or the rocket suit to traverse this area and get into that door. But like I said, they give you energy, so you have enough energy to get there. If you ride the platform, well, I think either way you have to use a suit to get up in there. Because, you can't jump that high. But yeah, these guys are very easy. You can shoot diagonal down at them and kill them as you're coming down, as you see. These guys are also very easy. You may want to kill that enemy on the top of that tractor or that treadmill. And then you can deal with that circular enemy, which he's invincible when he's rolling or when he's in that spear. But when he comes out of that spear, then you can start hitting him and kill him. Very easy. It can be a little annoying with all the shit going on in that area, but I mean it's not anything difficult. Sometimes it's good to kill enemies just because they may drop health or energy refills. So that's why sometimes I'll kill them. There is a few very good farming spots where you can get all your health and energy back, which I'll show. But I cut out the farming because I didn't want to show 5 minutes of farming. It's not going to be fun to watch, but it's very easy to do. Here I like to climb along the ceiling and pretty much bypass all this. Just make sure you're firing and ready for the enemies that show up. Now here, the mistake I made in this was before I knew that you could fire diagonally with the power wave. So if you fire diagonally at those green guys, you won't even get hit. But I learned that later, and I had to edit this based on when I beat the mini-bosses, because I had to show myself beating the mini-boss. And that was a lot of times when I didn't have the level down as well, because that was my first time beating the mini-boss. But I had to show that because, it's important to show getting where I got the suits at and the boss fights themselves. So I edited after beating the mini-boss, I pretty much edited the rest of my playthrough after that, so that it all was, fluid. But yeah, this one is very easy. Just go under the ball when it bounces, up. Slide under it. You slide by pressing the down diagonals and jump. And if you don't want to be greedy, because I was playing it safe because I had very low health and it was my first time fighting this type of boss. It does repeat later, but fire one boomerang and then retreat and dodge the fireball, and you can play very safely by doing that. There is one thing about this game that can really fuck you up, and there's a lot of slowdown at points, and the game will eat your inputs, meaning that the inputs won't register. And I had this problem when using rapid fire on one of the flying gargoyle type bosses, where I couldn't slide, and the boss would just land on top of me and kill me. So if your inputs aren't registering on certain parts, it's because the game is really slowing down and it's not counting your inputs. So keep that in mind. It does happen on certain parts, especially with rapid fire. It can be an issue. That's just something to be aware of. But yeah, after beating that, you'll get your health refilled. And this part can be tricky. Now you got the rocket suit after beating that dragon. I recommend waiting for the blades to stop before you start moving, but be careful because you can get pushed into those fans that are pushing air upward. You can get pushed into those fans very easily. So you got to get the timing down. I wanted to get that energy tank on the right, but I got kind of pushed into the door. And, of course, I entered the door and I can't go back in. But you can get that energy tank on the right by using a rocket and just fly over to the right and get that energy tank. So, you don't have to miss that. I also fly past the following section, as you saw. And continue to use the rocket suit for a while. It's useful for these parts, for sure. I may switch it out here because I don't really, it's good to switch to the regular character when you're not using it. Because then you'll conserve your energy. It can be useful to do that. It probably would have been useful to use here, though, because it has a more powerful and wider shot. So, I mean, I could have continued using it. I had enough energy, but it's not that useful for this part. So I just used a regular guy for this part. With these levels, there's almost no checkpoints. Occasionally, you'll get a checkpoint. I think maybe if you die on the boss, you may get a checkpoint or something. On this area, Though I'm not even sure. I mean, rarely, most of the time I had to beat the levels just on one life. So you do have to learn the levels. I recommend, as usual, using save and load states to practice sections of the levels if you need to learn them. That's the best way to do this. This is the farming area, so I cut this down. But you can farm up all your health and all your energy here by killing those things that come out of that. They keep dropping out of that like little tube at the top of the screen. So you can just farm it there. For this, you can just stay in this corner and shoot them right and up as they move. Watch your health, though. Make sure your health doesn't deplete. If your health is getting low, use your energy tank if you have one. If you don't have an energy tank, you can still beat it as long as you have full health with that method. If you don't have full health, then you're probably going to die doing that method, because I get down to just 2 pieces of health by doing that. So you basically just shoot to the right, then shoot up, shoot right, shoot up as you follow the enemies as they move, and just stand in that corner. Make sure you're using either the Rocket Man or the Newt suit man to do that the way I did it. It'll work with either suit. Yeah, and for this part, you're just going to have to be patient. One thing to remember is that for some jumps, you only have to tap the jump button. If you hold it, on some parts, it's very easy to hold it for too long and jump too high and go into these spikes on the top. Those moving conveyor belts on the top are actually spikes. If you touch that, you die instantly. But you can, for a lot of these parts, you can just tap the jump button to get across instead of holding it. It's very easy to, for some of those parts to jump into the top part. So it's a little tricky. But like I said, if you tap it, you shouldn't have much of a problem. There's also an energy tank to the top right that you can get immediately. It's not shown here because I already got it when I edited this video. But it's in that top right area on that platform as soon as you enter. So immediately you can go up there, slide in, and get it if you want. The best way to get that energy tank, if I remember right, was to use the Newt suit immediately and climb up that ledge. That way you don't have to worry about jumping too high and hitting into that those spikes on the ceiling. It makes it easier from what I remember. For here, if you just stay in these corners and crouch, these balls won't hurt you. You just have to be careful when you slide through. But that's about it. Also, I shot down diagonally through that little crack at the bottom to kill that enemy before going down. It's very worthwhile to do so you don't take any damage on the enemy. You also have to be careful not to jump down too soon when the screen is not scrolled enough, otherwise you will just die from jumping down too early. These enemies are very easy. You just get them to come up by jumping up, and eventually they'll pop up and you can kill them when they're open. Down here you can go and get a tank for your energy, an energy tank. So it's worth going down there and getting that. You jump very high in the water, so you can get back up. And you'll be getting the wet suit here, so you'll be able to swim, which is very good for water areas. It's much better than these floaty jumps. At certain points, you will be able to farm piranhas for items, but I don't know if these areas were that good for that. I didn't do it in these areas. There's a very easy trick here with this boss that makes it extremely easy. Using the Newt suit, all you got to do is climb on the ceiling and stay in this left corner here. And when it appears, on the left side, just shoot down at it when it stands up. You don't have to try to follow it because you're too slow to follow it from left to right. So just wait for it to come back. And there's no way that it can damage you. So just, kill it that way. And after doing this, you will get the wetsuit. So now you'll be able to swim. Or as it's called in the game, wet suits. But, So now you can swim. So it makes these parts a lot better. You can skip ahead, but I believe there is a important item down here, a useful item. I think there's a life tank down here, if I remember right. So I recommend going down here to get the life tank. And remember, you can only use the life tanks by pressing select when your health is low. They don't kick in automatically when your life is depleted. As far as I know, anyway. I don't know if I ever tried waiting, but you know, I knew that I had to press select because I read up about it. So I don't know if I tested it out and tried depleting all my life to see. But I would just assume that they won't, you know, replenish your life automatically like the energy tanks do. You can, of course, test it if you want with save and load states and see what it does. That's an easy way to test it. This part is very easy. You just have to, you know, wait until the fire is lowering down before you go on the platforms. And then, you know, you go up on these other platforms and just wait the fire out so you can be safe. Make sure you break those blocks before you move forward so you don't get knocked off the platform. But yeah, very easy. Just kill the enemies that are up on the platforms, you know, as you need to do it. You can also destroy the gates that the bubbles and things come out of, as you can see me doing. That works for pretty much any enemy gate. Most of them anyway. Some of them are not destructible, but most of them are. At the bottom of the screen, it also shows you, you know, area 6 of 8. So it shows you how many areas you have left. Though they aren't checkpoints, so, you know, like I said, the levels don't really have checkpoints in them too often. Occasionally there will be a checkpoint near the end of the level, it seems, but that may only, like I said, that may only come in if you die at the actual boss. Because I've died on later sections of the areas and didn't get a checkpoint, so I'm still not sure exactly how the checkpoints work and how each one works. You can use one of your suits here if you want, because it's more powerful than using the regular guy with the boomerang. So if you have enough energy, you may want to use that. The Newt guy is good because his he's faster than the rocket guy. So if you need more speed, you may want to use the Newt. Aside from just climbing on the walls, he's a faster faster version, and he has of the suit guy, and he has a powerful attack like all the suit guys do. So, it might be worth using for that. Here I was deciding which suit to use. I think I use the, maybe the Newt suit, yeah. And again, you can bypass a large section by using this suit and just walking along the ceiling here. And you don't have to do all the platforming. So there's a lot of parts that I bypassed using suits. You'll see in the video. Some of them are a little harder to do with this to bypass, but I'll explain. You know, and you'll also see the path I'm following. But this part's very easy to bypass just by climbing on the ceiling. There's not much risk here at all. You get a lot of time with your suit meter, so it takes long to wear out. I still have an energy tank as well, so I have an extra full meter in reserve. Here you just climb to the ceiling with the Newt suit. And all you got to do is shoot diagonally down at this guy and just follow him and shoot him as he moves. By doing so, you know, also make sure you shoot the missiles before you concentrate on him so you don't get hit. But it's very easy. Extremely easy boss. Like most of these bosses, they're pretty much extremely easy if you know where to position yourself. And which suit to use, etc. Yeah, now I'm on stage 4. So this stage again is not too difficult. There's going to be some good skips from what I remember as far as being able to skip some parts. So yeah, just take care of all these enemies, you know, the usual way. Sometimes these guys take a little while to come out of their little ball. But once they do, you can kill them easily. Just barrage them with boomerangs. Or if you want to use your suit, you can if you have enough meter. That's more powerful, obviously. And it has a wider, the projectiles have a wider spread. They don't go as far, though, from... I don't think they do anyway. Maybe they do when you have your... I guess they will if the power meter is charged up, but if you shoot them rapidly, they don't go very far. But yeah, so just destroy all this shit. You can probably sit there and farm those little things that come out of that spout if you don't kill the enemy spawning thing. I didn't bother with that. You may be able to do that there. It looks like it might be a farming spot. You will be getting another suit soon, the Patriot suit, I believe. So I don't know why the fuck it's called a Patriot suit, but it's a very useful suit for some bosses because it can block projectiles from hitting you, so it's pretty good. It also shoots through walls, so useful to know that. It's the only suit that can shoot through walls. That's probably the most useful feature of it, I think. So yeah, switch to your wetsuit here if you want to make things easier, and then, obviously as you're ascending, just kill everything. Shoot some diagonal shots to take out the enemies before they can even hit you. When you get all the way to the top, you can start grabbing. You can grab 2 tanks, which is a great area because you can grab a life tank, and then to the right and down you grab an energy tank. So, some nice free items that are very easy to get. And if you want, you can switch back to your regular character to conserve the energy, since you're not going to need it for some of these fights up here. It's not really that useful. I mean, it'll make it a little easier, but it's not, it's better to conserve if you don't have, the extra energy meter. In my case, I had quite a bit of energy because I have an energy tank as well. So, but I wasn't sure exactly what was coming up. I don't think at this point. I switched to the wetsuit here because you see the water current pushes you back as the regular person, but with the wetsuit he can walk through the water as well, and it won't push him back. So that's another reason that you may want to use the make things easier. I would have got through there a lot faster if I just had that equipped. So yeah, for this part, this part is also easy. You're going to be fighting the middle boss soon. You may want to use one of the suits. Go down here and use the water suit so you can walk easily without the current pushing you back. This boss is also very easy. All these middle bosses are very easy. You're going to do the same thing you did the last time you fought this guy. It's the same exact boss. They do repeat. With these bosses, you can't climb on the ceiling with the newt because they bounce too high. So it would be very hard to dodge. So you can't do that same exploit. Well, now you have the Patriot suits, as it's called, and with this suit, you can, as I was saying, it'll automatically deflect certain projectiles, it seems, and it also shoots through walls. So it's very good for a lot of cleaning up some of the harder enemies and for boss fights, certain boss fights. It's not as useful as some of the other suits, but it is. It's definitely useful. So yeah, I think to the left was also an item on that platform that I already got. That's why it's not showing up. But when you play, you'll see it. I think there's some kind of tank over there. It's very easy to get. Just use your rocket to bust over there and grab it. This part's very easy. It just takes long, so it's a bit tedious. Now I should have used my Patriot suit from the beginning here, and I wouldn't have taken any damage. But so keep that in mind. As soon as you get in this area, switch to your Patriot suit if you have decent energy, because you can shoot through the walls and take out all these enemies. Also, I recommend not sliding through these gaps until the floor is moving back down again. That way you don't risk getting crushed. It's just a safer way to do it. You can try to squeeze through while it's going up, but it's, I wouldn't really recommend doing that because this game doesn't really have checkpoints, and this is the last area. So if you die here, you'll probably have to redo the entire level. There may be a checkpoint, but I wouldn't count on it. So I would recommend just playing it safe. I think I may have gotten crushed once trying to be greedy. So I'm not sure. I may have beaten this area my first time, but it's very easy. It just takes long. I take the Patriot suit off while the platforms are moving and I'm not attacking, just so I can save energy. If you have a lot of energy, you don't really have to worry about doing that, but I was trying to be conservative because I didn't have any extra bars of energy after this one runs out. So, I want to make sure I had it for when I was going to need it. So yeah, just shoot the enemies through the walls, switch back if you want. And that's really all you're going to be doing for this entire section. And then you'll have quite an easy boss fight after all this. Yeah, very easy. As I said, just tedious because it just takes, it takes a while for this shit to move. So it's kind of just a slow, kind of boring sequence. But there's really no challenge involved. Yeah, these games are awesome, though, man. I highly recommend playing the first and second. I beat both of them. First one, like I said, I don't remember as well because I beat it a while ago, but it was a great game. So for this boss, get by this this crate you see me by right here. And I was hitting right to try to hit the guys behind me, but I was doing it very fast and it wasn't registering. That's what I'm talking about when the game eats inputs. So sometimes you got to do your inputs slower and more carefully or they won't register because the game has a lot of slowdown. But anyway, all you have to do is stand here and do what I'm doing. Just shoot these guys from this position. Just keep mashing it rapidly and just kill them. Using the Patriot, I use the Patriot form for this boss. Patriot suit. Very easy. But I think after this is going to be the I think I cleared all 4 levels by this point. Yeah, so next is the 5th stage. Now there's only 2 stages left. So yeah, for this part, you don't have to worry too much if you take damage for this beginning part because I'm going to show you a farming spot. This whole area is a farming spot. You can farm those things by, moving back and forth and making them respawn. But I'll show you I'll show you a safe one that I was farming. And I farmed it for like at least 5 minutes, but I edited that out because I didn't want to show that. It's a waste of time to watch. But yeah, so take care of this asshole. This will be the last guy to take care of. And now you can farm this thing after you're done with that. You can see I got a hamburger here. And now see I keep going back to farm it. You can keep just sliding and going back. Sliding to move fast and then just keep coming back. You do like 2 slides, then you do 2 slides back and kill it. And etc. And you keep doing that. I did that until I filled up all my meter. I just didn't show that. Like I said, it took about 5 minutes. But just remember you can farm that area, so don't worry about that first part too much. And you got to be careful here jumping up on these platforms, but it's very easy. If you fall, completely down to the bottom, then you'll die, obviously. But the main thing you have to watch out for is the guns that appear. So try to, throw your blade out in advance and try to take care of those. For this easy asshole at the top, I like using a Patriot suit because it'll block some of the shots, and you can just spam your gun and kill them without taking any damage. It's optional though. They're easy enemies, but no sense taking any damage when you don't need to. I think this part I pull some more bullshit and climb on the ceilings, which is what is useful to do for this. You can shoot diagonally and take those guys out to see if they drop anything at least. You don't have to kill them, but sometimes, enemies drop stuff, so you may want to see what they can drop. But yeah, very easy section. Not much to say about it. So here you'll get a cutscene that I skipped. And I believe coming up soon is a... Right, yeah. So for this part, you want to make sure you have at least half of an energy meter. You need half an energy meter to do this. And now, when I get to this point, this block here, I switch to my rocket suit. You're going to hold down jump to keep your thruster going in your rocket suit. So make sure you're holding jump. But be careful, because if you press jump while you're standing on a platform, you can sometimes jump very high and go into the spikes, because you think you're holding it down for thrust, but you're still on the platform. Be careful about that. So you're going to move all the way to the left of the screen pretty much with this rocket suit. And this is a very easy one to exploit by sitting here on the left side of the screen. And, just keep firing if you want, so that if anything comes, it may hit into fire. But for the most part, I don't think there's any real enemies until maybe the end of the section. There might be like one enemy or something in this one. So if you take a hit, it doesn't really matter. I just take the hit at that point. You do need you need half of an energy meter, though. I think I checked it, and it used like exactly half of a meter or something like that. So make sure you have half of a energy meter at least when you do that. Otherwise, you won't be able to fly long enough, and you'll have to try to find land or something, which would be very hard to do in the middle of the air. So you can walk on those disappearing platforms, of course. It's just much harder. You do have that option, but there's really no reason to make it that difficult. Here you can use your rocket suit. I recommend equipping it before you drop down, and make sure your thruster's on. I don't really know how to turn in the air, so I just take the hit and grab that energy tank. That's what I always do on that part. So for this, switch back to your wetsuit. And all you got to do here is just carefully descend down. I got stuck on that platform and took a hit, but it's very easy. Grab that life tank, very easy one to get. And make sure you have enough meter. Check your meter before you go swimming, just to make sure you can swim up to the top. With the energy tank pickup and other things, you should have plenty of energy tank to do all this shit, but especially if you farm that area I told you about in the beginning, you shouldn't have a problem as far as running out of meter. I come close to running out here, but I also had an extra energy tank, so it didn't really matter. It refilled automatically. You can kill that guy at the top or the other enemies to try to grab more shit if you want, but I didn't bother. This boss is extremely easy. After he does 2 passes, he'll drop down. See, that's the second pass, and then he'll drop down. Second full pass, and then, basically does like 2 laps, pretty much. Very easy. Just shoot up at him and shoot him when he's on the ground, briefly. Be careful about using auto fire or rapid fire, turbo fire setting on a controller in that part, because when I did that, I couldn't slide because it created so much slowdown. I guess because I was able to fire too much faster than the game wasn't tested for that, So just be aware of that. When I took it off and just mashed the button normally, I was fine. For this part, you pretty much always get an energy pickup on one of these first 2 guys, which is useful. Make sure to kill the guys when they're behind you as well. You wouldn't think it's important, but if you don't do that, they'll shoot you as you're leaving, and you can take like 3 hits because you'll get jammed up on that little wall that you have to like lower yourself around. So just be careful with that. Make sure you kill them all as they appear. There's also a farming area at the end here that's very useful to fill up your meters. And I recommend having a full energy meter for skipping a difficult platforming section. If you have a full energy meter, you can use your rocket suit and skip it. So I recommend farming up your energy meter at the least. You at least want to have that full for that one part. And here's the farming spot. Just keep walking back and forth on this area and just keep killing everything. It can be a little dangerous because shit will appear underneath you sometimes, but just pay attention and, you know, keep going back and forth and you can farm up everything you need. I recommend getting your meter that way. The other method that I was doing before farming that area was I'd get energy tanks by playing up to the flying section and then basically committing suicide. And you will keep whatever energy that you accumulated, you'll keep it on your next lives. The only thing is, if you lose all your lives, then, you know, it all goes away. So you do have to, you know, that guy does drop an energy tank, or not tank, but an energy refill occasionally. But if you farmed it, you don't need it because you'll have it filled up already by the time you get here. And then for this part, pretty much just start floating. When the platforms start to go upward, I like to start floating. And just wait for this section here to pass around this barrier. You want to try to avoid being on them because they can push you up into shit. So they can be dangerous if you're sitting on them. So try to stay mostly to the right of the screen. Leave a little bit of a gap so you can shoot this enemy that appears. Otherwise you'll probably get hit. But it's not that big of a deal if you get hit by those things. There's 2 of them in this area, but I usually get hit by like one of them, at least one of them, but it doesn't really matter. There I almost jumped into the spikes because if your feet touch that platform and, you know, you're holding down the thrust button, that's also the jump button, so you can go flying. But yeah, you can go underneath that platform, let it push you down a bit, and then when it goes up, just get in there real fast, get in that gap. It won't push you down into the bottom of the screen. It will push you up into the spikes though, so stay under it. And for this part, just pretty much just keep shooting your boomerang when you get into these areas and you'll kill this. For this, shoot your boomerangs and then maybe crouch to hit it when it goes down a little bit, but you can kill it very fast before it hits you. If you do it right. This part's extremely easy. The ground will suck you down, but it doesn't hurt you initially, so you have to get sucked all the way down into the ground to die. So just kill these guys, maybe get some items. Use those platforms as barriers to shield yourself from some of the attacks. Mainly the fire pulls that those blimps drop, but you know, very easy. You can use the newt suit to walk on the ceiling here, and then you won't get hit by that thing that tries to crush you. It won't kill you in one hit; it'll just damage you, but no sense getting hit. You can climb across here. Avoid these spikes. You really don't have to use the suit here. It's a very easy part, but if you have the energy, you can use it. I believe you get some energy back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I use the Patriot suit for this part because it blocks some of the shots. And I think the wave for the Patriot suit has more range. It seems to go across the screen. And I don't know if the other suits really do that. I always use it for these parts. For this part, you can also use the Patriot suit, but I was trying to conserve meter at this point, so I just used my regular character, which is it's fine for this part. If you want to make it easier, though, you can use one of the suits. These parts are very easy. Just use your wetsuit and maybe kill one of the turrets in the mummy, and just and then switch to your newt suit and climb up that block to the either energy tank or life tank. For this part, it's an energy tank, so you have to switch to the newt suit to be able to climb around there. I guess you could use the rocket as well, possibly. I'm not sure if that would work because that gap at the top is small. But I just use the newt suit. It's easy to do. So use the suit again and climb up and get that life tank. And then this area right here is a great farming area. So I think I spent some time farming up my life and my energy. I edited that out though. But if you stay down in that bottom part of the floor, stay on the floor, and just keep shooting diagonal in both directions as the fish appear. And you'll collect as much energy and life as you need by doing that. So you can refill everything very easily. So I do recommend that farming spot if you need it. Like I said, I edited all those out because I didn't want to, it's redundant to show that for too long. So yeah, kill the mummies here and shoot up in the ladder right here. That's the only area where you can shoot up a projectile. Now it'll kill the running guy. Of course, you could just use your rocket suit and fly up there to begin with if you wanted to do it faster. You don't have to do it that way. The suits give you some flexibility, which is what's cool about being able to use different suits for different parts. Now for this part, there's a dangerous fall that I stopped doing. I used to just fall down from the right side and just hold right, and I would go inside the area. But instead, I recommend using the rocket suit and just let yourself fall, and you'll descend slowly, and then hold the thruster at the last moment, and just go into that right door. It's a lot safer than trying to ride those platforms or trying to hold right while you're falling. That doesn't always work for some reason, I don't think. I know I died on that a few times when I got to the end. It was very annoying to get all the way over here, including all the farming and stuff, and then just die and have to redo the entire level, because there's no checkpoint there. Now, there is a checkpoint on this section, but I don't know if you get it unless you die on the... You may have to die on the boss to get a checkpoint here. So if you die here, you may not even get the checkpoint, because I think I have and I didn't get it. So the checkpoints are kind of weird like that, it seems. But use the newt suit and just climb along the ceiling here, and it's very easy. Now for this part, it can be easy to die. I did die on here more than twice, so it was very annoying. I did waste a lot of time on that. But all you really have to do is slide and just stand on the platform. And I don't even know if it disappears like I thought it did. So, just slide, stand on it, and... Oh, it does disappear, I guess. But, I think the timer doesn't start until you're standing on the platform now, because I waited for a long time and it would not disappear. So I think you slide, stand on the platform briefly, and just run to your right and jump. And don't try to jump out of the slide. That's the mistake I was making. I was trying to slide and then jump while I was still sliding. And I find that not to be very responsive in this game, so don't do that. That was getting me killed. But like I said, use save and load states to practice sections and troublesome parts like that to make sure you have it down. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo this entire stage again if you don't get it down. And it's just a waste of time. I should have practiced it more. And it wouldn't have taken me as long. I wasted a lot of time on those two end parts because I died and had to redo the entire stage at least 4 or 5 times. So, very annoying. The reason I'm not saying anything about this is because I'm using the same cheap-ass method here that I used before. But this is the final boss gauntlet, so it's very easy. After you kill each form, you get full life replenishment, and you get some of your energy replenished. So it encourages you to use the suits, but don't use the suit for the first form. Now, I did go down and fight the guy normally because I wanted to. The timer was getting low, and I wanted to end the fight. But I got most of his health down by doing that cheap technique. Now, this is the same thing you did previously when you fought this guy. There's not going to be any difference in strategy from what you did previously. And luckily, you're going to get your life back between forms, as I said, so it makes it very easy. You don't even get hit on this if you do it right. For this part, stay in this corner here, I believe. Yeah, you stay in the corner, use Newt Man or Rocket Man, either one. Or the suit, actually. But, and just shoot right and up as it appears, you know what I mean? And be wary of your life. If your life's getting down to 4 pieces of health, use your life tank that you collected. You should still have it. So have that ready if you need it. Because that guy sometimes doesn't always... I can't always get him on 1 life bar. But this guy I can. This guy's very easy. Use Patriot Man, get to this crate right here, and do the same thing you did last time. Just shoot them as they get in range of your projectiles. Very easy. I don't even think I got hit on this. It was extremely easy. This is the same guy again, He'll do 2 passes in the air and then he drops down. Like I said, make sure you're not using a rapid-fire controller for this part because it will slow the game down and then it'll eat your inputs and you won't be able to slide. The game does do that. So just... rapid-fire doesn't really work that great with this game. It causes a lot more slowdown. Which usually would be beneficial to be able to see what's coming up, but in this game it'll actually make it so that inputs don't register. So yeah, very annoying. This guy's extremely easy. All you got to do is jump and shoot him when he appears. I guess try to dodge the little grenade that he throws. But use Patriot Man. It absorbs some of the, I think some of the shit he throws out. The bullets. It'll remove the bullets that he tries to throw out. So just use Patriot Man, jump and shoot at him. Try to dodge the grenades. I don't think I've ever gotten hit by this guy. Extremely easy. I didn't even practice it, really. I mean, I tried it like once, and then I just, you know, knew that it was going to be easy. I practiced it like one time or something. But yeah, it's extremely easy. And then after that, you've beaten the game. So, you know, good work on that. Let me know if you have any questions about the game further. I can answer them now because the game is still fresh in my mind at this point. And let me know if there's any games you want to see tutorials on or any specific types of videos you'd like to see. And thanks for watching.